Morning, folks. Justin Rogers here. Bob Winowski, John Neo. Just witnessed, what was this, 3 in a row?
3 in a row.
3 in a row. Detroit Lions lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers in a field goal kicking expose, 20-15.
Yeah, and it was a thriller, sure, I guess, sort of.
Good game.
Field goal kicking, but it was weird because it was like Jim Caldwell and the Lions, because they don't have a short running game at all.
None.
They don't know when really to.
They don't have a long run.
Okay, that's true too. Okay, but they don't know when to go take the field goal, to when not to take the field goal, when to push it and try to punch it in from the one, and when not to punch it in from the one. I want to say that Caldwell and Jim Bob Cooter and Stafford too screwed up some of those red zone plays. I want to say that badly, and I think it's true. But they're also hamstrung by the absence of a running game, and I'm at the point where don't even try it anymore. Dwayne Washington from the 3, the 2, the 1 doesn't work.
And it's not Dwayne Washington's fault, although he has his own problems. But this offensive line can get no push up the middle, and that's where your short running game is found. And we know their stretch zone runs are even worse because they string it out and defenders leak in that way. So it boils down to Graham Glasgow, Travis Swanson, and T.J. Lang. And those 3 collectively, whether it's one in a given play or 2 or all 3, aren't getting enough push consistently to get 1 yard when they need 1 yard. And when you do that, you're hamstrung.
Right. Okay, so given that, do you go for it on 4th down when you did go for it on 4th down? And if you go for it on that 4th down, how can you justify not going for it the next time?
I say you take the field goal on the first time to give you the lead, 15-13.
But instead, he went full. He went not full Jim Schwartz on us. It wasn't a fake field goal in Pittsburgh. This was a we ain't scared kind of.
No, but this is the difference.
Sort of
No, it wasn't. But this is the difference.
It doesn't make any sense.
With a normal team, you should be allowed to go. I know, but you should. But you should. Hold on. You should be allowed to go for it on 4th and 1 from the 1,
normal team
instead of settling for a 5th field goal. With a normal team, you should. They're still trying to figure out. Okay, we want to be a normal team. We want to be able to smash mouth it. So they try, and they can't smash mouth it. That's the problem.
See, if you can't run it on a short play, have some kind of gadget, some kind of trick, some kind of misdirection in your playbook. You have a lot going on. I think this pass game with Riddick, with Tate, even with Marvin Jones, some of the stuff he can do with his body and boxing guys out, they should be excellent in the short areas of the field. They have guys that can get that little quick separation. They may have problems down the field. They may have problems with the deep post routes, but in that initial separation off the line of scrimmage, they've got like 3 or 4 guys that can do it. And for some reason, they can't seem to draw up consistent plays. They have no identity in this area.
Right.
And it doesn't make any sense.
So the guy who's under the gun is Jim Bob Cooter in that regard. Everybody's...
True.
The honeymoon's over. Everybody's deciding he's terrible. I think what people are missing, and I think we saw it at least a couple times tonight, is, Matthew Stafford's the guy at the line with the decisions. He's the guy checking
Made some bad checks.
And so
one really bad check.
One really bad check. But that's all it takes, And so I think that's sort of the disconnect now too, is okay, who's calling the shots and who's making the mistakes when we're all screaming about a play, because sometimes it's the quarterback.
And I think a little bit tonight.
The quarterback was really good today.
It was really good until the red zone. They were really good in a lot of ways. They had almost 500 yards against the Steelers. But tonight, in prime time, I kind of think the Lions got caught up in a little bit of that big bad Steelers are in town, and we're going to slug with these guys
a little bit. Radio topic. But didn't it seem like that? Like
No, it really didn't. It just looked like the Lions who can't run the ball.
No, he wasn't going to take that 5th field goal. It was like a badge of honor. Like, I am not taking a 15-13 lead on a 5th field goal when you should.
Yeah.
And to me, there was a little bit of bravado going on there. But beyond that...
And to me, his explanation, I thought, was terrible afterwards. It was completely backwards, I thought. You can't go for it the first time and then not... that's... And you certainly... He didn't really want to admit it, but the reason why he didn't go for the second time is because he didn't get it on the first time.
So there's...
Pretty much.
He said he wouldn't say it, but that's true.
There's 9 games
which is also
left.
a terrible way to coach.
I already want to jump ahead to next offseason because that's
No.
here's the funny thing
over.
is,
Justin says
no,
the
it's
It's not
season's
even
over.
halfway.
No,
let the season play out. But we've seen Bob Quinn invest so much in this offensive line.
right.
It hasn't worked to this point. I think you're going to see a third wave this upcoming offseason. And, it's probably Travis Swanson that,
Yeah.
will be on his way out. Because, like I said, if you can't get pushed up the middle, they've invested in Glasgow. I think they believe maybe Glasgow can be a little bit better at center. I don't
Yeah,
know.
right.
It remains
No,
to be
you're right.
seen. He was good at it at college. That leaves you finding another guard that maybe can get that push. I don't know if they do it in the draft. I don't know if they do it in free agency.
Right.
It's a lot of money to commit top line, but they need to do more up front.
And again,
schematically, personnel, whatever it is.
Sure, and all this goes without saying, Taylor Decker is still not on the field, and that makes a huge difference for
Absolutely.
this team. Not going to solve those problems on the interior of the line,
Right.
which has been a problem for this team in the past. It seemed like it had gotten fixed. It's not fixed.
Are you guys going to make me shout about it again? You are. You just went through your little caboodle here about offensive line. So I'll do it again.
Okay.
You gotta go get a big running back. You've got to. Nobody else tries
So,
to do what the Lions do
with
with
Dwayne
little
Washington.
Amir Abdullah and Theo Riddick, great complementary players, but nobody else tries to do that. Every other team in the NFL has a hammering back, and I know they think
Kansas
Dwayne
City.
Washington can be that way, but maybe he can. And you're right, upgrade the line, absolutely, but at some point, you do have to get a big back. You just do.
Yeah, I mean, Dwayne Washington is big. Physically
that's the
is
idea,
big.
right.
He is
A big,
6'1".
really good back.
So they need to get a really good power back. I agree. I was on the get LeGarrette Blount in here for the pennies on the dollar that he would have cost for all the baggage he carries, and obviously he's doing very well in Philadelphia. I'm not sure anybody can block, or anybody can run successfully on this line. You look at the numbers. Amir Abdullah came to this game third in the NFL in yards after contact average on carry. That's how bad it is. He's averaging like 3.8 yards per carry, and like 3 of it he's doing after contact. They're getting stuffed 30%,
30%,
Percent of the-
31%.
And I feel bad because he had some nice runs today. That offense between the 20s went up and down the field. And we haven't even mentioned that defense after the big 41-yard pass to start the game held in there. I mean,
Well,
Big
that's
Ben was
yeah.
kind of off of
Well,
quite
they
a
had
bit.
a couple
but-
busts deep, and that's going to happen. But
Yeah, that 97-yard.
that was
Did
a
you
little.
see that
That was a
one?
little. That was problematic.
Oh, jeez.
So maybe they could trade Eric Ebron for a running back.
Eric
Oh.
Ebron, and we might as well address it.
Yeah.
Do you expect Eric Ebron to be on this roster come Wednesday?
I don't, actually. I think they're going to go ahead and make a deal.
Before today, I honestly, I kind of would have said I do, but I just don't at this point. And he's talking to him after the game. He sounded like a guy who thinks he's gone. I
Yeah.
mean, that's reading between the lines, obviously, but he sure acted like it sounded like it.
He didn't even apply for late checkout at this hotel. I mean, that was a guy that
Yeah.
bags seemed packed mentally.
This was a
agree with you.
perfect synopsis of his career here, though, too. Like, missed opportunities,
Then a flash.
and then a flash of the promise, the potential. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the game, the reason why they have another chance in the red zone is because of a third down catch by him, and then a 44-yard rumble down the sideline, and
Right.
And
Yeah, I
if
just-
they end up winning this game on the drive where he
Here's-
it probably
the
keeps
problem.
him here.
The problem for Bob Quinn, though, there's still plenty to play for this season. Obviously,
Absolutely.
Right.
The next 4 games is going to decide what happens with him. They got division games coming up. It's not out of reach, any of that. But who does he have to? I mean, Eric Ebron's not doing much, but he's still the best option for this team.
Well,
maybe?
Darren Fells dropped a big
First half,
touchdown
they were
pass.
0 for 6 throwing to the tight ends, and I think they had 3 drops.
yeah,
Michael
just
Roberts
one of
is not ready.
Nope.
It doesn't, and
Darren Fells is different. He's a different type of
player, right?
them. Yeah, they're gonna have to go about it,
I don't know.
replacing him differently. But it's really late. It's really late.
Yeah,
what's your watch?
let's. It's 2:54.
2:54.
Going to Green Bay next week.
You're going?
Yeah, we're going. Lions are going too. And
Lions are gonna win.
Apparently, Aaron Rodgers won't
Lions
play.
are gonna win.
So maybe they have a shot.
I do absolutely. I think they're going to win.
Of course, they have a shot.
They win that game, 4-4. Still a couple back from the Vikings at least, but
one
you
more
got
with the
that.
Vikings
You got
on
that one in
Thanksgiving.
hand. You got
Yeah.
another game with the Vikings here. The division
It's
isn't
gonna
lost
come
at this
down
point.
to the Packers game here at the end of the season.
The Vikings are starting to
We're
look
just making
good.
all kinds of predictions.
Yeah.
You're about the bravado. You're about Aaron Rodgers coming back in Week 17. I'm about going home.
All right.
So stick with us for all your Detroit Lions coverage.
Whoa! Don't do it!